Okay, we've all been there, right? You're just driving along, minding your own business, and bam, that little orange engine icon pops up on your dashboard. Your heart sinks a little. But look, that light isn't just a mystery you have to live with. Let's decode exactly what your car is trying to tell you when it throws a P0190 code. Think of it this way. That light isn't just a warning. It's a message. It's your car's computer trying to have a conversation with you. So today, we're going to learn the language, decode that message together, and figure out exactly how to fix it. All right, first things first. We've got a code from the scanner. Let's start our investigation right there and figure out what P0190 actually means in the official rulebook. Okay, so the scanner spits out this mouthful: fuel rail pressure sensor, A circuit malfunction. Whoa, that sounds super technical, I know, but breaking it down is the key. It's pointing us to a very specific part of your car that's all about getting fuel to the engine. So let's translate that into plain English. Your engine is controlled by a computer, the PCM, and there's this little sensor that acts like a reporter, constantly telling the computer what the fuel pressure is. A P0190 code means the computer is getting a really weird signal from that reporter, a signal that's way out of line or just doesn't make any sense at all. Now, a code on a scanner is one thing, but it almost always comes with clues you can actually feel when you're driving. These are the warning signs that connect that digital code to what's happening on the road. So, what are we talking about here? Well, you might notice your engine stalling, or it's just running kind of rough and shaky. Maybe it's a real pain to start in the morning, or you step on the gas and it just hesitates. It doesn't have that get up and go it used to. And yeah, you're probably noticing you're visiting the gas station a lot more often. These are all classic signs that your engine isn't getting the right amount of fuel it needs to run properly. Okay, so we've got the code and we've got the symptoms. Now it's time to put on our detective hats. We're going to line up the usual suspects behind a P0190 code and figure out who the real culprit is. Generally, the causes fall into two main categories. On one side, you have electrical glitches. This is a problem with the messenger, the sensor itself, or the wiring. On the other side, you have fuel system faults, which means the messenger is actually telling the truth about a real problem with fuel delivery. Let's look at the electrical side first. The number one suspect, most of the time, is just a bad fuel rail pressure sensor. It's sending garbage information. It could also be damaged or corroded wiring, or maybe even just a loose plug. Now, in some really rare cases, it could be the main computer itself, but trust me, you always check the simple stuff first. Okay, now for the other possibility. The sensor is working perfectly, but it's reporting a real problem. This could be a weak fuel pump that just can't keep up, or a fuel filter that's so clogged nothing can get through. And hey, let's not forget the simplest one of all. You might just be really, really low on fuel. It happens to the best of us. Knowing the suspects is half the battle. Now we need a plan of attack. We need a logical roadmap to find the true cause, so we're not just throwing new parts at the car and hoping for the best. With all these possibilities, a structured approach is everything. You don't want to start with the most expensive and complicated fix. You start with the easiest, simplest checks, and you work your way up from there, step by step. So the process starts with the absolute basics. Is there gas in the tank? Seriously. Then do a visual inspection. Look at the sensor's wiring for anything that's obviously broken, melted, or chewed up. After that, you get a little more high-tech. You plug in a scan tool and watch what the sensor is reporting in real time. And finally, you bring out a good old-fashioned mechanical fuel pressure gauge to get the real story. And this right here, this is the whole ballgame, the key test. You compare what the scan tool says the pressure is with what the mechanical gauge proves it is. If the scan tool is giving a crazy number but the gauge shows perfect pressure, you know you have an electrical problem, a bad sensor or wire. But if both of them show low pressure, well, then you know you've got a real fuel delivery problem, like a weak pump. This one test tells you exactly which rabbit hole to go down. So once your diagnosis has nailed the culprit, you're finally on the home stretch. This is the moment where all that detective work pays off, and you can make a confident repair. And this is probably the most important thing to remember. That P0190 code didn't tell you which part to replace. It just told you where to start looking. It was the first clue in a mystery that you now have all the tools to solve. So that check engine light, it's not so scary anymore, is it? It's not just an anxiety-inducing light. It's a challenge. It's a puzzle. You have the clues, you have the list of suspects, and now you have the diagnostic roadmap. The only question left is, what's your first step?